Hey guys, it's Petunia Gal, and we are back with a weekly recap of the latest Planet Zoo 2 news. So let's get into it, and we'll start with this frequent flyers video, which is awesome.
Hey, it's great to see you. Today, we'll be visiting some of our amazing avian species and the incredible homes we can build for them. Let's soar right into it. Our aviaries are specially constructed to meet the needs of our birds, with a variety of roofs giving them plenty of space to stretch their wings. And some of those wings can get pretty big. Our secretary bird, Temba, has a wingspan of over 6 feet, though their species are known to spend most of their time on the ground. We've certainly got a lot of great enrichment to keep our birds entertained. But you'll still most likely find our long-eared owl, Ontario, in the air. He's most active at night, though does like to show off during the day for our guests. Or maybe he's courting our female, Abby. She does seem impressed. Before long, we'll be welcoming new nestlings to our aviary. While we let these eggs incubate, let's check in on some of our other feathered species. This is our great hornbill aviary, but there's a twist to this one. Meet Dilla, our stunning Malayan tapir. Her family shares this habitat with our party of hornbills. Cohabitation is great for your zoos. Not only is it space efficient, but some animals even need it to thrive. Looks like one of our hornbills is headed to their cavity nest. We should give them some privacy. Can't be watching the nest cams all day. Plus, there's one more type of aviary I'd like to walk you through. Welcome to our Toko Toucan walkthrough. These pathways are an incredible opportunity for our guests to experience the wonders of our birds up close. Just be careful which birds you choose. They don't all take too kindly to visitors. Our long-eared owl's eggs have hatched. They're small now, but they won't stay little forever. Soon, they'll be just as big as their parents. And by then, we'll be able to release them to our wildlife reserves, helping to increase their natural population and let the ecosystems flourish. Sadly, I've got to fly, but next time we'll be letting our creativity run wild. See you soon, zookeepers!
So that is super cool. And here we've got a little bit of a recap for it, let you know what my thoughts are. And look at this awesome owl just flying in. That's so cool. This little animation. I love the animations they do. They are pretty cool. So we've got them putting in an aviary and formatting it a little bit. I put in this shot here just so you can see more of the actual dialogue box of it, and it looks like we're going to have quite a few things that we can adjust here, so that is awesome. And we have different colors and styles there. And then we have a look at the secretary bird again, and these guys look so cool, and they are mostly flightless birds. I'm guessing they can fly, but they just don't. And I love this new little feeder enrichment. And here I had to stop at this because look at that sky. That looks awesome. I usually don't do recording during the night just because it's hard to see, but that is an awesome shot there. So we got some more of the owl flying at night, which looks super awesome. And here is the probably best thing in the whole frequent flyers video. First we have the animation for the mating, and then we have eggs and nests. Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Now we have the hornbill flying around an exhibit within an aviary, which is super cool. And we get our first look at the Malayan tapir we're going to get in the game. It's not in the Zoopedia yet, but also the hornbill's not in the Zoopedia yet. But yeah, we are going to get aviaries. We can put exhibits inside, and that is super cool. Now we have another nest that we can put out that the birds can fly to, and we can get a webcam in there so we can take a look at it. Probably also link it up to boards and all that, I'm guessing. And then we have a look at the aviary for the hornbill, and looks super cool. The pathing looks so easy. I can't wait to try it out. And we got some more look at the toucan. And here, a closer look at the Zoopedia. We have the cohabitation options as any non-predatory species, which sounds pretty cool. You can see right there if you can put them in or not. Roofed habitat, periodic food expenses, population. And then we have the terrain. Look at it. We have waterlogged, soil, sand, rock, and grass. We don't have long grass, which to me is super cool because I never liked using long grass. Then we have the temperature there and the salinity. And then we have, if guests can walk through or not. But these guys, oh my gosh, they're so cute. We get little baby owls, and I can't wait to see what other babies that we get and what they look like from birds and the reptiles in the game and all that. It is so exciting. And then we have this last look here with a little bit of a teaser for what we're getting, I guess you'd say this week. But yeah, I'm guessing a hare of some kind, but that is super cool. I can't wait. And let me know what you guys think. What do you guys like best about this frequent flyers look here? I think it's super cool. I can't wait, as always, to play this because, yeah, it just looks awesome. And here we have the Zoopedia. We have the long-eared owl, which to me is probably the best model of the Zoopedia yet. I just think it's so awesome. And I cannot wait to play with these and all of the birds coming and the fish. It's just everything. And here we have the meerkat, which was teased. And I love meerkats, so I am so excited that they're coming back to the base game. And yeah, I can't wait to play with these guys. They are super cute. And then we have the dolphin fish, which is also mahi mahi. And these look awesome. I don't think I've ever seen these guys, so those will be an awesome addition to the aquariums, I think. I think all the fish are going to be awesome additions to aquariums, but that's just me. And then this was teased on TikTok, so I went ahead and put this female of the dolphin fish on here. Not in the Zoopedia, but I wanted to add it because I thought it was super cool. And then we have the Indo-Pacific Sargent fish, which is another one of the schooling fish. And I think they look pretty awesome here. And so another fish that we can use just to, I guess, would be a filler fish, but just because you can get so many in a school. And then we have the Sri Lankan rose, which this butterfly looks so awesome. And I can't wait to see how butterfly habitats work in Planet Zoo 2. I think it'll be super awesome to check that out. And then we've got the Cape buffalo, which of course looks awesome. All the detail, all the little hairs on the ears and the little tongue sticking out there. That's cool. And yeah, it just looks awesome. And then we have the Thompson gazelle, which, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't that a extra animal last for the Planet Zoo? I think so. But they look super awesome. I love it. And then we have the slippery, I think this is a giant slippery frog. I'm like, come on, really? That's the name? And the Goliath frog is from last Planet Zoo. So I kind of wish they would just stuck with Goliath frog. Just saying giant slippery frog seems weird, but there we go with that. And it's another exhibit animal. Then we have the gray wolf, which we've already seen in some of the videos, but it looks super awesome. And having wolves in the game, I think, is pretty much a mainstay. Just, they seem like a zoo kind of animal, right? Then we have another look at the Toko toucan that is now on the Zoopedia. And again, it's a bird, and I can't wait to play with it because it's going to be super awesome. And so I hope you guys are excited for all these too. And I hope you're enjoying these videos. And then I put the Malayan tapir here that we saw in the frequent flyers video. Obviously, we don't have them in the Zoopedia, but they're here, so we know they're coming, and I can't wait because I definitely love the baby. The baby's so cute. Here we have the behind the scenes flying birds article that they did, and we'll go through this. And again, let me know if you want to see this as a full just read through or just skimming kind of the important parts. Definitely let me know. Fetch your bird watching binoculars and keep your eyes peeled as we uncover the development process for Planet Zoo 2's avians. Heyo zookeepers, this time in our behind the scenes series, we're reaching for the skies with a breakdown of how we've created the new flying species for Planet Zoo 2. Looking to the skies. Flying birds were a core part of our vision for Planet Zoo 2 from the earliest days of our planning, but they presented an iceberg's worth of hidden considerations we needed to work our way through. As with our animals in Planet Zoo 2, we need to balance game-ready models with anatomical accuracy, trying to be as true to each species as we possibly can. For flying birds, this means considering the number of flight feathers, individual feather silhouettes, how wings work closed and open, coloration patterns, and sexual dimorphism, to name but a few. So you don't realize how much goes into making this stuff until you read something like this. So I really like that they bring out these articles. But this owl, oh my gosh, is so cute. We also found there were limited references to look to in the games industry for good examples of how to make game-ready birds at the kind of high visual fidelity we needed for Planet Zoo 2. Birds are often background assets in games and are usually kept fairly simple for performance and budget reasons. But in Planet Zoo 2, our birds are some of the stars of the show, which I cannot wait to play with. And look at this picture. That's cute. In order to deliver our new flying avian species, the team here at Frontier developed a bespoke, highly technical pipeline unique to these animals, built around open and closed wing meshes that our animators can swap between freely as the birds move and fly. And this is obviously a work in progress picture. And here is, I'm guessing, a modeling of the wings and the bird itself. Creating these assets required careful planning with our character art, rigging, and animation teams, with lots of close collaboration to overcome the various challenges flying birds present. So, flying birds seems like a lot of moving parts to have to deal with, right? The first technical challenge is building separate open and closed wings that align seamlessly with both the body and each other, much like interlocking puzzle pieces. This allows us to switch between the meshes being used by the bird model depending on if the wing is to be open or closed, while keeping the swap as natural and hidden to the player as possible. To do this, we create a sculpt of the bird with one open and one closed wing, keeping the body itself completely symmetrical. Once this model has been optimized for use in game, we then split the wings off from the body before mirroring them to create a right and left version of each. This process results in a game-ready model with matching open and closed wings that can be seamlessly swapped. I have been totally overwhelmed with programs like this that you can do, these 3D models. I don't think I could do it. I don't think I have that brain power. The feathers themselves were another major undertaking for the team to tackle. Each bird in Planet Zoo 2 combines a mix of bespoke feather cards, hand-painted textures, and our custom fur shader. Our talented character artists spend a significant amount of time creating and placing these cards by hand, carefully layering them to create accurate wings, tails, and crests for our birds, sometimes with hundreds of feather cards on one bird, which is a lot. But you can see this kind of wingspan would take a lot. I can't even imagine. This is key to creating the various layers that make up a bird's wings in Planet Zoo 2. The mesh, which is the bulk of the wing, depicting the skeletal and muscle structure. The flight feathers, which are feather cards slotted into the mesh one by one, stacked closely with each other and provided with individual movement through animation. And then there's the tertiary feathers, which are layered above and sometimes below the flight feathers. These feather cards create the transition between the previous layers. Depending on the requirements of the specific species of bird, an additional 2 layers can also be added here. Capillates, which are structures overlapping the upper body and wing to represent back feathers, typically with an open and closed version to go along with our wing swaps. Pockets, which usually overlap the chest and lower part of the wing meshes. These allow the closed wing to slot into a pocket of feathers, replicating the real behavior of the birds. Texturing for our birds was also particularly demanding, requiring lots of handcrafted detail to capture the variety of feathers and patterns seen across our birds. Just to make something like this, it seems just, again, overwhelming. It's so many different things that have to work together. Because each bird calls for such a specific approach, the character art team built a huge library of feather brushes and resources to use for this. While texturing our birds, we also had to pay particular attention to the continuity between the wing swap textures and transitions to the body, so the wing swap system can seamlessly change between open and closed wings. All in all, it took a lot of iteration, collaboration, and R&D to figure out a pipeline for creating flying birds that worked for our character art, animation, and rigging teams. The end result, while some of our most complex asset to produce, are the stunning birds you see in Planet Zoo 2. I think, I don't know, being a person that worked on this from beginning to end, I would think that once it's done, you just have to sit back and be like, wow, I can't believe I did that, or we did that. I think it'd be so cool. Earning our training wings. A key part of our new flying birds for Planet Zoo 2 is their ability to, well, fly. Flight is a particularly complex form of navigation, so the team spent a lot of time and effort making flight appear authentic with smooth flying paths and animations that match real-world behavior. For example, depending on the phase of flight, animals will have to exert different levels of power to generate enough lift or ascend. To support this, we developed dynamic systems that change the intensity of wing flapping when a bird is ascending sharply, softly, or maintaining their height. We also added a noise system to simulate the effect the air has on the bird's movement and feathers as it flies. So you can see on the software here the flight of a bird and everything that is going into that. Look at all these things. I don't even know. I'm gonna go past that. It's making my brain hurt, right? Similar to our aquatic animals' preference for particular positions in the water column, we have various parameters and preferences that we can tweak for our birds. Species can have a desired altitude at which they would like to fly if possible, as well as how they behave at this altitude. For example, we can choose whether birds prefer to follow true altitude, altitude above sea level, or absolute altitude, altitude above terrain, shaping how they react to the ground they are flying over, such as flying down through a valley or soaring over it. These parameters enable the team to represent different flight patterns for larger and smaller birds, or those who are more maneuverable and those who are perhaps a smidge less graceful. This means that an eagle soaring over a canyon will express different flying behavior to a great hornbill flying beneath the rainforest canopy, which I can't wait to see in game. It's so cool. When it came to our birds landing, we needed to make sure our flying species could hit their targets smoothly from any approach onto any surface, while also keeping in mind that many birds will land differently, with some preferring a long glide and others short and fast. To allow the animation team the freedom to reflect this, we dedicated planning time to handle the distance and speed of each landing animation for each of our birds, resulting in seamless landing behavior, which is bespoke and authentic to each species. Seeing the first flight of our white-tailed sea eagle in game was a spectacular moment for the team. While it couldn't land properly yet and would frequently fly into the ground and stay there, it was the inspiring push we needed early in development to continue to improve and refine our birds. That seems like it would be crazy, a feeling of, okay, we've done it, but we still got a lot to do. Bird brained. Building systems for our birds to fly was all well and good, but we also had to consider how they land, perch on objects, interact with the environment, and utilize our new animal brain framework. Our flying animals use the same brain and decision-making process as our animals in Planet Zoo 2, but their pool of behaviors and situations can differ somewhat to terrestrial animals. And this animation, I love this. It's so cool. For example, birds that are primarily arboreal or live in trees will prefer to perch, which is a new type of behavior that enables animals to perch on trees and certain habitat objects. Depending on their preferences, birds will also exhibit specific behaviors like stretching and sunbathing on these perch points. Other birds, which have a more terrestrial preference, may prefer to either walk around on the ground or in shallow water. Depending on their species, birds will also evaluate the costs of flying differently and weigh this into how they behave. A wading bird and arboreal bird that want to get to a feeding station on the other side of the habitat will go about it in different ways. The arboreal bird will consider a flying path to that feeding bowl more efficient than walking there, while the wader will prefer walking there on land or in the water if possible. Which sounds super cool, super complex, and all of that. Implementing perching behavior was a fairly complicated problem for us to tackle. Just because an animal could perch on something doesn't mean it has a clear, unobstructed path to get there. We also have some physics-enabled perches that add another layer of complexity when animals are perching on them, as they need to react to how the perch is moving and move with it. We had a lot of fun mishaps along the way while implementing these systems, but they all contributed to more varied and authentic behavior for our birds. Yeah, I bet there was a lot of crazy work in progress kind of things there. Feathering your nest. In the original Planet Zoo, we simplified birth for our oviparous animals by omitting nests entirely and using the same live birth system for all our animals. For Planet Zoo 2, with our roster of new flying birds, returning flightless birds, and reptilian egg layers, we had the perfect excuse to tackle nesting behaviors, which is super exciting because not only flying birds, but also returning flightless birds, which could be flamingos and stuff like that, and reptilian egg layers, which means pretty much anything, snakes, lizards. Obviously, the crocodiles have a nest. We've seen that. And that's going to be super cool to play with. You will now need to provide these animals with appropriate nesting sites per breeding pair within a habitat so they can reproduce. Animals with a nesting requirement will not be able to conceive until a nest is present in their habitat and they have claimed it. After mating, the female will then lay eggs within the nesting site, which will be incubated by either male or female, sometimes both, depending on the species. This will work slightly different for reptiles who will leave their eggs to incubate on their own, although some mothers may guard their nests. Once the eggs have been incubated, it's time to welcome some new faces. And this one is super cute. This is a baby secretary bird, if I'm not mistaken, and oh my goodness, it looks so adorable. I love it. We name every single one of our birds and other animals internally, with the character artist leading on that animal choosing the name. This nest-bound secretary bird is called Mr. Pickles. I love that, Mr. Pickles. For reptiles or flightless birds, this will be a recognizable form from the original Planet Zoo, with juveniles free to explore the world around them. Flying birds will instead be nest-bound upon hatching and remain in their nest under the care of their parents. At fledgling age, they grow up and trade their shaggy look for adult plumage, but are still considered juvenile and don't count against adult population limits until they become sexually mature. So I'm wondering if this means we have a third stage for our animals, because obviously these are baby birds, not juveniles, but this also says that they grow out of their fledgling age and look like the adult. I would be really interested to see how that goes. And if there is a third stage there, that would be awesome. Nesting is a core characteristic of avian animals and will be critical for our zookeepers to help these new flying species flourish. And I can't wait to try. A place to stretch your wings. Our new flying animals also mean a completely new way for zookeepers to build habitats, aviaries. Habitats can now be enclosed with roofs that are attached to barrier posts and, optionally, roof pillars to create quick and custom escape-proof airspace for your birds, keeping both guests and the animals safe. While we call these habitats aviaries, these roofs can actually be used in other habitats and are a perfect tool for more diverse builds for climbing animals or those with a bit more pep in their step. All flying animals in Planet Zoo 2 have a flyable area space requirement, which you'll need to keep in mind when creating your aviaries. Much like our aquatic animals have a preferred water depth, birds will need enough space to really stretch their wings. And look at the tapir. Oh my gosh, it's so cute. Awesome. Along with building an appropriate sized aviary, you'll also need to give your birds ample things to perch on, enrichment toys, feeders, and nests for reproduction. Birds' flight and the preference of many species to perch in trees mean that guests will often have to look up to see the animals they came to visit. To provide your guests with appropriate views, elevated walkways both in and outside aviary habitats will be a common sight in Planet Zoo 2. Onwards and upwards. Along with our aquatic species, flying birds were a huge leap forward for Planet Zoo 2, requiring new processes, new technologies, and plenty of brainstorms to reach the authentic depictions we strive for. It's been a pleasure for the team to see all this hard work pay off, and it will be an even bigger pleasure when we see you start to introduce these new flying animals to your zoos and wildlife reserves in October. Planet Zoo 2 is available to pre-order, and that is super cool. So there is the article, and I think that is it for this one. But let me know what you guys are most looking forward to in this recap, because it's hard to pinpoint one or two things. There's so much in this, from birds to baby stages to new mating animations, and just there's so much. So I can't pick one. I can't pick my favorite thing. It's all great, but this owl is just the best. I love it. So until next time, guys, I hope you have a super blessed night or day wherever you are. If you did enjoy, don't forget to hit that thumbs up. Also hit that subscribe button and the bell to get notified of videos as they come out. If you have any questions, comments, tips, anything like that, leave those down below in the comment section. Love seeing those, and we'll get back with you as soon as I can. And until next time,